Ports like this all along the East and Gulf Coast are back up and running after they shut down for 3 days during that massive dock worker strike. The union and the shipping industry group reaching a tentative agreement to suspend the strike until January 15th. Sources familiar with the negotiations tell us that wages will go up by 62% in this new 6-year contract. That is not as much as the union wanted, but a lot more than shipping companies originally offered. In dollar amounts, base pay for a top dock worker will go from $39 an hour to $63, and that's about $131,000 per year. Many dock workers earn more than that after bonuses and overtime. President Biden is applauding this agreement. We're told he called the union's leader, Harold Daggett, this week to express support for the workers. Both sides will now have until January to negotiate other sticking points like protections against the use of automated machines. But cargo will start to be loaded off and on. All of those ships were piling up.
Economic time bomb occurring in Canada, and nobody is talking about it. Everybody's being distracted by the Trump victory and surging stock market. And let's not forget about Bitcoin. This economic time bomb is rapidly developing, and it is going to be catastrophic for the Canadian economy. We currently have 2 ports that are completely shut down in Canada. BC ports Vancouver, Nanaimo, and Prince Rupert are shut down due to labor disputes. And now, as of yesterday, Montreal's port is now closed, and yes, this could be catastrophic. If you thought the train stoppage was huge, oh boy, that was only 4 days and $4 billion worth of damage, and we suffered a negative GDP in August because of that. So this train stoppage that we saw in the summer is peanuts compared to the port stoppage. The BC port is on day 8. It's $800 million worth of goods per day. So we're at $6.4 billion today. And the Port of Montreal is $400 million. They've only been closed for 1 day, but it's going to continue. So today we are at $6.8 billion. It gets much worse because the BC Ports Union had a 3-day negotiation scheduled for this weekend. And guess how long that meeting lasted? 12 minutes, and then the door closed. This is a rapid deteriorating situation. Expect store shelves to start looking a little bit bare. And when that happens, people are gonna start panic shopping and panic buying. Remember when people saw that there was zero toilet paper? People went bananas. The BC Ports Union was offered a generous 20% increase in salaries over the course of 4 years, but that is not what they're looking for. They want full stop on automation, and that is something the ports are not offering. Every single day that these ports are closed, it is catastrophic damage to our economy. I will provide everybody with lots of updates because you're not hearing it all over the front pages of the mainstream media.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, and a sincere salutations to the hopeful elect, the Tabernacle of David, you Akim pushing this truth to the 4 corners of the earth, and all truth, faith, and sincerity. And also a healthy shalom to the few Akwath who are listening and learning. Lord's willing, this lesson be edifying. And today I want to touch on this article from CNBC entitled U.S. Port Union Talks Break Down Again Over Automation, with 2 months to go before potential strike. And man, the Heavenly Father is truly working, and America, Babylon the Great is doing what it's always done, kicking the can down the road, all right, trying to prolong its empire. But it's inevitable that this place is going to crumble and ultimately be destroyed. So I want to start with 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. It reads, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." And the Heavenly Father is stringing together events that's going to bring about horrid terrible conditions upon the earth and are going to fall upon the people. And if you're paying attention, you can see it as clear as day. All right. He says great miseries. He emphasizes the miseries. OK, now I always pull the antonym of the word misery. It reads state of grievous affliction. So misery is already a state of grievous affliction. The Heavenly Father put the word great in front of it. Great miseries is about to befall this earth. It says condition of external unhappiness, miserable situation, misfortune, distress, wretchedness. This is what the world has to look forward to. Now, how are these great miseries going to be brought about? Well, let's find out. So I'm going to read the key points of this article. It reads, the United States Maritime Alliance, which represents the owners of East and Gulf Coast ports, said in a statement on Wednesday that the union position on automation is currently making a new labor deal difficult to reach, with a January 15th deadline to either reach an agreement or face another strike. Next key point, USMX says the use of semi-automated cranes already at many ports is critical to future supply chain demands. The International Longshoremen's Association, which is not publicly commenting, has said in the recent past that the union wants new contract language to clearly state that no automation means no automation. All right. And this is how we know that they're not going to come to an agreement. They're not going to reach an agreement, because to get rid of automation is senseless. You know, these Fortune 500 companies save so much money when robots are doing the job. All right. Robots don't need to sleep. They don't need to eat. They can work in the dark. So what do you think is going to happen on January 15th? They're not going to reach an agreement. And we know that the supply chain is critical. OK, because what happened back in 2020? All right. When that thing was going around and the supply chain was backed up. How many people were out of work? How many people were out of jobs? How many people were just home, sitting in their homes, waiting, twiddling their thumbs? When the supply chain is affected, everything is affected. Employment, food, you name it. So from here, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 22. And it reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's exactly what takes place during the supply chain issue. This is coming straight from the Heavenly Father's mouth to your ears. All these things are going to lead to famine, sedition, neighbors kicking in neighbors' doors to search for food and water. All right. 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16. Okay. All these things are going to lead to chaos. So real quick, now let's get to the most current port strike. All right. So this reads from Forbes, Canada's West Coast port strike causes supply chain issue. All right. It says the holiday season is fast approaching, but this year's excitement could be dampened by the threat of a major trade disruption due to ongoing port strikes once again. It says British Columbia Maritime Employee Associations locked out over 700 foremen at ports across British Columbia. This distribution coincides with an ongoing strike at the Port of Montreal, the largest port in eastern Canada, which has been already facing partial closure affecting 40% of its container traffic. So this ain't even in the mainstream media. This is major news, man. Major news. So we have this going on, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, they may have forced them back to work through legal way reasons. Do your own due diligence. But with this looming, all right, with January 15th, 2 months away, 2025 could truly be the year of Jacob's trouble, man. Everything, all the cards are lining up. All the cards are lining up. So it says the ripple effect of the strike. The West Coast ports are a powerhouse, handling about 576 million in daily trade and playing a vital role in North America networks and a network of ports, railways, and trucking. However, a prolonged strike could throw a wrench in the well-oiled machine, causing a ripple of effects throughout the entire supply chain. All right. So it says history serves as a reminder. Last month, a 3-day strike involving over 47,000 dock workers affected 36 U.S. ports. And while it was brief, the resulting backlog of ships waiting to unload cargo is expected to disrupt local and international supply chains for weeks. All right. So you see what's coming. If you're paying attention, you can clearly see what's coming. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 5. It reads, "For thus saith the Lord out of one, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." Right. Because there is no peace. All right. There's a time and a season for everything. And we're in the season of war. We're in the season of just death, man, and judgment. You know, keeping it 100 with you. It says, "Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with a child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail?" And this is from the smallest, weakest man to the strongest, mightiest man. All right. They're going to be travailing as a woman that's having labor pains and about to give birth, man, because of the horrendous times that are going to befall this earth. So it says, and all faces are turned into paleness, right? Because they're not going to have any hope. Around every corner, there's going to be a calamity. And just when they think they escape one calamity, a new one is going to pop up. All right. Non-stop danger. Non-stop misery. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Right. Jacob's trouble, a time like never before. But the elect are going to be saved from all the turmoil and all the death and all the chaos. All right. That's going to be taking place. The only way you're going to escape this danger is through divine intervention, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? Because he is collapsing this thing as I speak. And not only that, what else is in the news? Let's see. Let's not forget about, where is it? Matter of fact, let's not forget about the Houthis, man. They just attacked the naval carrier, the Abraham Lincoln, over there in the Red Sea. Okay. So that's all. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get a clip.
So on November 11th, U.S. Central Command forces successfully repelled multiple Iranian-backed Houthi attacks during a transit of the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. During the transit, the Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer USS Stockdale and USS Spruance were attacked by at least 8 one-way attack uncrewed aerial systems, 5 anti-ship ballistic missiles, and 3 anti-ship cruise missiles, which were successfully engaged and defeated. The vessels were not damaged, no personnel were hurt. Again, CENTCOM forces retain the inherent right of self-defense, and as I highlighted earlier, will take appropriate steps to protect our personnel. Literally got this, shortly before coming out here, so you can expect to see something coming out of CENTCOM on that as well. To my knowledge, not aware of any attacks against the Abraham Lincoln.
So why are they leaving the Red Sea if they were not struck? And what is this? The incident, occurring Monday in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, involved at least 8 drones, 5 ballistic missiles, and 3 anti-ship cruise missiles targeting the U.S. vessels, which sustained no damage or casualties. Pentagon spokesperson Major General Pat Ryder confirmed the interception, which followed recent U.S. airstrikes on Houthi weapons storage sites in Yemen. The Houthi-run Al Masirah TV claimed that the group also targeted the USS Abraham Lincoln with cruise missiles, though Ryder denied any confirmed attacks on that vessel. Seems like they were successful at driving the U.S. Navy once again out of the Red Sea.
The Red Sea shipping crisis is impacting global trade and supply chains. Shipping companies worldwide are facing a difficult decision. If they choose to navigate through the Red Sea route, they risk attacks by Houthi rebels in Yemen and significant increases in insurance costs. Alternatively, they can take a detour around the southern tip of Africa, adding over 6,400 kilometers to the journey, regardless of the direction, and extending the voyage by 10 days, leading to higher fuel consumption. Both options result in increased costs, and these costs may ultimately be passed on to consumers in the form of higher commodity prices.
So as you can see, the supply chain is being attacked from all sides. All right. And there are no coincidences. All these things are done on purpose. All right. To bring about this global financial collapse. All right. To bring down this old fiat economic currency system, and to implement this digital currency, this new world order. So it's happening, man, right before our eyes. So let's get Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14. It reads, "The Lord Adawan hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof." Right. Everything America is trying to do to fix it, to correct things, is backfiring. All their men of wisdom and renown, the people that they turn to get things fixed. They're Olivia Popes, they're fix-it people. All right. Everything they're doing is failing. Everything that they're trying is failing, because this is of the Heavenly Father. It reads, it says, "And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which head, nor tail, nor branch, nor rush may do." Right. There's not going to be any employment out here for anyone. All right. A time is coming like never before. Mass unemployment, mass layoffs. It's going to get to the point, I always say it, you're going to have to get it how you live, man. If the Lord ain't dealing with you, you're going to have to get it how you live. You might have to delete your neighbor to try to feed yourself and your kids. You guys are going to have these thoughts. These things are going to be taking place. Purge-like atmosphere and conditions. This is what the Heavenly Father is doing. He's bringing about conditions to bring about a purge on this earth, man. And it's right around the corner. Judgment Day is right around the corner. And Lord's willing, 2025 be that year. Hopefully we don't even make it into 2025. But Lord's willing, we almost out of here, man. Because this place has to go. All right. Shalom Israel. Wa abad babal.